Today, we're cracking open a real-life medical detective story. For centuries, it baffled scientists and claimed countless lives. This is the incredible story of how we unmasked an invisible killer and discovered the hidden ingredients that are absolutely essential for life itself. Let's start the investigation. So our story kicks off with a really chilling mystery. For hundreds, maybe even thousands of years, there was this unseen enemy that stalked humanity. It hit soldiers during the Crusades, sailors on these epic voyages, entire armies were devastated. And the terrifying part? Nobody knew what it was or where it came from. All they knew was that it was incredibly deadly. In our first major case file, it's a big one. It's about one of the most brutal of these mysterious illnesses, scurvy. We have reports of this thing going all the way back to the Crusades. But once we entered the age of sail, it became this horrifyingly common way to die at sea. To really get a sense of just how bad this was, look at this number, 25%. In 1535, the famous explorer Jacques Cartier lost a full quarter of his entire crew to scurvy on just one trip. Just imagine that for a second. 1 out of every 4 people you're sailing with, gone. All because of this one baffling illness. What's really wild is that the clues to solving this whole scurvy thing were basically hiding in plain sight for centuries. Take a look at this timeline. In 1720, a doctor named Kramer points out that oranges seem to be a cure, and yet it took over 30 more years for Captain Lind to actually prove it. It's just this powerful reminder of how painfully slow medical science used to be. Okay, so the cure for scurvy was found, right? Problem solved? Well, not exactly. Knowing what worked was one thing, but why it worked, that was still a total mystery. The case was far from closed. In fact, our investigation is about to get a whole lot bigger, as scientists started connecting the dots between different illnesses, wondering if maybe, just maybe, they were all related. And now our investigation takes us all the way to Japan, and a brand new case file opens up, beriberi. This was another nasty disease that caused nerve damage, even heart failure. Then, in 1882, Admiral Takaki of the Japanese Navy noticed something amazing. He found he could cure it just by changing his sailors' diet. So, just like scurvy, the secret seemed to be hidden somewhere in the food. The plot was definitely thickening. And right here, the case takes this huge, fascinating turn. In 1890, a scientist named Eichmann does this experiment. He feeds one group of birds polished white rice and another group unpolished brown rice. And get this, the birds eating the polished rice got paralyzed, a lot like beriberi. The others, totally fine. This led to a mind-blowing realization. Maybe the disease wasn't caused by something in the food, but by the absence of something vital that had been removed. And at almost the exact same time, another massive piece of the puzzle just clicks into place. A scientist named Lunin creates what he thinks is the perfect diet, just pure proteins, fats, carbs, and minerals. But, surprise, animals couldn't live on it. But then, when he added just a tiny bit of milk to that exact same diet, everything changed. They grew normally. His conclusion was absolutely revolutionary. Okay, so all these clues, from scurvy on the high seas, beriberi in Japan, these weird experiments with rice and milk, they were all pointing to one massive, game-changing conclusion. This invisible ingredient, this hidden substance that was so critical for life, was finally about to get a name. This quote from Lunin just nails it. There must be some substances in diet besides protein, fats, and carbohydrate which are essential for life. This was a complete 180 in scientific thinking. For the first time, people were realizing that food wasn't just fuel. It wasn't just about the big stuff. There were these other mysterious, absolutely vital components. And then in 1912, Dr. Casimir Funk finally did it. He isolated the substance that prevents beriberi. He figured it was a type of chemical called an amine. And since it was, vital for life, he combined the Latin word for life, vita, with amine, and he came up with the word vitamin. Our mysterious suspect finally had an identity. But you know how these detective stories go. Just when they thought they'd identified the culprit, the case got way more complicated. Scientists pretty quickly realized there wasn't just one vitamin. By 1915, researchers had already found 2 different kinds, a factor A that dissolves in fat, found in things like eggs, and a factor B that dissolves in water, found in milk. And that little discovery led to one final name change. In 1920, Professor J.C. Drummond suggested, hey, why don't we drop the E from vitamine? Why? Well, because as they kept finding more of these things, they learned that not all of them were amines after all. So they dropped the E, and the word we all know today, vitamin, was officially born.
So there you have it. The historical mystery is solved. Now, let's fast forward and open up the modern scientific rulebook. What exactly are these things, and how in the world do they work their magic inside our bodies?
Okay, so what's the official definition? Vitamins are potent organic compounds you find in food. But here's the key difference. Your body doesn't burn them for energy like it does with carbs, and it doesn't use them to build tissues like it does with protein. Instead, think of them as specialists. They perform very specific, incredibly vital jobs. Now, vitamins are basically split into two major teams, and it all comes down to how they dissolve. You've got your water-soluble vitamins like the B complex and vitamin C. Your body uses these up pretty quickly. And then you have the fat-soluble ones like A, D, E, and K. Your body can actually store these in your liver and fat tissue, kind of saving them for a rainy day. Okay, here's something that might actually surprise you. Your body is kind of its own little vitamin factory. Those trillions of microbes living in your gut, they're constantly working, producing some of the essential vitamins we need, like the B complex vitamins, right where we need them most. Pretty cool, huh? So how do they actually get their jobs done? Well, many vitamins act as what we call coenzymes. Imagine your body is full of little workers called enzymes ready to perform millions of different tasks. But these workers can't start their jobs until someone gives them the green light. The vitamin is like the key. It fits perfectly into the enzyme, flips the on switch, and lets it do its critical work. Without that key, the whole process just grinds to a halt. All right, so let's do a quick recap of the vitamin profile. They're originally made by plants. We find them in almost all our foods. We only need them in really tiny amounts. They get absorbed whole without being broken down. And today, of course, we can make most of them in a lab for medicine and supplements. And that right there brings us to our final big question. Think about it. This entire detective story started by watching what happened when people ate or didn't eat whole foods, lemons, rice bran, milk. Now we can just pop a vitamin in a pill. But does that mean all the mysteries hidden in our food have been solved? Or could the things we eat still hold the clues to the next great medical breakthrough? That's definitely something to chew on.